I'm Rachel.
And I'm Nick.
And we live full-time in our retired ambulance. So we've done a van tour before, right when we finished our van build, and the van was spick and span, spectacular. And now since living in it full-time for about 10 months, we've learned that it doesn't look that way all the time. So we want to show you what our van looks like on a normal kind of day-to-day basis. We just went through a huge heat wave here in BC, so we've admittedly not been on top of cleaning or anything like that. And we are just here on the side of the road, here in Kelowna where we live. So please come see our ambulance with us, and we are very excited to show it to you.
So as previously mentioned, this is going to be a messy van tour. This is our 2011 retired ambulance. We bought it at 337,000 kilometers. It's just over 350,000 now, so we put a few kilometers on it, but we mostly lived here in Kelowna. So yeah, been living in it for about almost a year now. September will be a year. So we'll take you guys around the outside. Again, as Rachel mentioned, the inside's not very clean. Neither is the outside. We have bugs splattered all over the front end of the van. So let's go around. We'll start on the other side. We'll check out the electrical box, and then after that, I'll take you guys on top and show you the solar panels, which have also not been cleaned. Okay, so this is our electric box here. All the wires, all the electrical in the van runs down onto this side and then into this box here. So if you come around the other side of me, this is it here. Kind of a rat's nest of wires, sort of, a little bit. We have our inverter here, which is only 600 watts. We have our 2 deep cycle AGM batteries. We have our solar controller here. And then this here, when we're plugged into shoreline power, so we don't have a battery charger. When we're plugged into shoreline power here, we can flick this on or off, and that will turn on our outlets inside. We have 2 outlets that run on shoreline power, and if we turn this one on when we're plugged in, that will turn on our heater. So we have a little electric heater for when it gets cold, as long as we're plugged in. So we'll close this up and I'll take you guys up top. So before we go up top, I'll just show you guys the back. It's very messy back there. I haven't cleaned it in a while, and it looks a lot different than when we first packed it. So opening this up, we have curtains now. Here's our bed, obviously. And this is like our garage, all of our storage here. So this cooler normally isn't here. I've been procrastinating making a little AC unit out of this, so haven't done that. And then everything else is just kind of like thrown out. I'll grab things and then we'll just kind of throw them in and start driving. Everything's wedged in there nicely, so it's not going to move around while I drive, but it definitely doesn't look that nice. We also we bought like a little floaty, so there are things that are like kind of seasonal that go in and out of here. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look that nice right now, but that's the whole point of this. So.
And also to mention that it is summer, obviously, here in Kelowna, so all of our winter stuff is packed under there. It definitely is a lot messier during the summer seasons because we have a lot of bulky winter clothes. Being Canadians, and we live in this van through all 4 seasons, so yeah, it's super heavy and packed down there right now.
All this is storage under the bed as well as this here, just making easier access for everything. So just before we take you guys inside, I'll just show you guys up top what it looks like. I know in our first van tour, I mentioned, oh, we're gonna go see the solar panels, and then we just never did it. They're not that exciting, but we'll still take you out there and show you them anyways. So we opted out of getting a ladder, as you can tell, just because when we sleep, kind of rocks up there. When we sleep on the side of a road or anything like that, or in a city, we don't want people to have access to go up onto the roof of our van. So we opted out of having a ladder. So this is how I access the roof for right now, which, I mean, it's not clean, so it's fine. Voila. Is it filming?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so we're on the roof here. I'll just show you guys the vent. I'll point that out to you. And then our 2 panels, which actually, yeah, they definitely need to be wiped down. They're not too bad though. So this is our vent here. Obviously it's on.
one of the best parts about living in a van and something that we looked forward to well before starting van life, and has definitely delivered, is be able to just pull up to spots like this. This is one of our favorite spots to go to because we can be right on the lake and we absolutely love it. I mentioned earlier that we were just going through a heat wave here in British Columbia, so we had temperatures in the van as high as 47 degrees outside, and then 52 degrees in the van is the hottest that it got. So it definitely is worth it to pull up to lakes and take advantage of all of the ways that we can cool down outside. So that's what I've done today, hence why my hair is wet, but let's show you inside of the van. And I keep like hesitating to do it because I'm like, it's messy, like we can't show this, but whatever, let's just bring you in. So I guess I'll start this van tour the same as I did in the first video. This is obviously our front step here. This is just how the ambulance came. And we really like it because this is a place where we can put our shoes, especially, I mean, in the summer, it's really great because all the sand kind of just stays on this step. And then in the winter here in BC, snow, rain, all of that, we can kind of wipe our shoes and leave them here before we hop into the van. And then we also have a shoe rack here, which is very full. Right here we have a coat rack, which we try to limit the amount of coats that we have on it, but as you can see now, it's like super bulky. This one we actually put over our window when we're sleeping, so that's why there's a winter jacket still inside the van during the summer. And yeah, we have hanging storage here and a bookshelf here, which again, in our very first van tour, I think there was only one book in, but we've accumulated more books in the past 10 months, read more books, so they've kind of just ended up here as well as my journals. Okay, so come inside. So right now I'm gonna have to shut off the fan that's going on in here right now, and I'm actually gonna shut off our roof vent as well, which we have going because it is 35 degrees in the van right now. So this right here is our control panel, which came with the ambulance, and we use, even though we replaced the lights with our own LED lights. What's really awesome about this panel is that we can switch which panel of lights that we want to have on, so we can, oh.
Here, I got it. I'm gonna mention that as well.
This is a really good thing that actually happened, because so once an hour our lights actually completely shut off and that control panel just shuts off completely. And the way to put it back on is to either hit the unlock button in the car or to open a door. And that really, we thought was gonna really suck. Like when we first got the ambulance, we couldn't figure out how to turn that function off, except now we kind of like it, because if we are in bed and we just have a light on and we fall asleep, the lights will automatically go off for us. So it's like sometimes a good thing and sometimes a bad thing, but it just happened right there. So yeah, so this is the temperature gauge in the ambulance, and then this is our solar reader. So it's telling us what percentage the batteries are at. So right now it's only at 66%. And we are under a tree. We're not in direct sunlight right now. It's also like 7:30 p.m. And as Nick mentioned too, there is a lot of smoke in the sky, unfortunately, here in the Okanagan right now. So we're not getting like direct sunlight as we normally do in the summer months. Here we also have an induction stove, which we mentioned in our first van tour. We bought before knowing a lot about electrical, so we didn't realize we don't have the battery bank to actually be able to operate it. So this is one of the things that works when we're on shoreline power but doesn't work when we're off grid. So in the meantime, we have another propane stove that we just keep under our induction stove, and we actually cook on our propane or butane stove and place it on here. So it's kind of inconvenient, but like one of those things that we've just gotten used to doing. So moving along, we have our sink, and our sink, as you can tell, is absolutely tiny and is probably our biggest regret about our van build. We really thought that with getting like a small bar sink that we'd be saving ourselves more counter space, because we both love cooking, and that happens too. That happens when the door's ajar. We both love cooking, and yeah, we thought that we'd be able to have more counter space and it'd be really great. But what ended up happening is that the sink just gets really full really fast, and then our dishes just end up all over the sink. So that is like super frustrating. How do I do this again? Anyways, our plumbing system is really basic. We basically just have a foot pump that goes up to this faucet, and that's how we get our water. We don't have a like heat controller for our water at all. But we love it anyway, and we got the idea from Exploring Alternatives, so shout out to them. So this is underneath the sink, which has gotten really messy. This is our fresh water. It's just 5 gallons of water, and then this is our gray water here. So it just goes through the P-trap into the gray water tank, and we have to empty it once every few days. I think that if we were to do our plumbing system again, we would definitely do the same system, except just with a bigger sink, which obviously we can still do, and we can replace this sink with another one when we have more funds and more time. And then something else that we didn't mention in our first van tour, because we hadn't really used this in practice yet, was that we just basically hang a plastic bag here, and that's where we put our garbage, and we empty our garbage like once a day. The next thing that we want to show about our kitchen is the fridge. So we loved this fridge at first until this handle broke off, and we haven't been able to fix it because it fell somewhere down here, and honestly we've just been too lazy. So in here is all of our stuff, and the fridge isn't closing completely right now because we don't have that handle to secure the door. So it's kind of just sitting open like that, and probably honestly wasting a little bit of power. This is where we plug in our fan, and we usually keep this running. Like during the heat wave, we keep this running all the time, but not running right now because, as you can hear, the audio is terrible. So then over here is the unofficial space for my backpack, and my purse hangs here as well, which I'm not sure Nick loves, but honestly, we haven't really ever talked about that.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah?
Yeah, it doesn't bother me at all. I hang other stuff there too.
Maybe I should have asked you like 8 months ago.
I'm sure I would bring it up if I really had a problem with it.
And then behind here is our toilet, so we just have a small Dometic porta potty, and I won't focus on that for too long because when we first showed it, it had never been used, and now it is very well used. As well as our toilet deodorizer, which just sits directly behind the toilet. And then this hanging basket at first looked very aesthetic when we used to just put like bananas and like a couple like cute fruits in it, but of course now just like there's salt in there, like cherry tomatoes, onions, all sorts of things, and it hangs really low and doesn't look as cute as it did when we first put it there, but you know, hey, we use it, so it's gonna stay. And then yeah, behind the hanging basket are these spice racks, which we absolutely love. We made them, I think, probably 5 months after living in the van, and we had first thought that we had just like, we're gonna keep our 6 favorite spices out at all times, and it made cooking really difficult. So that is something I definitely recommend to people if you cook a lot, to incorporate spice racks into your van build, because we have no regrets about this now, and we're just so happy that they're there. Also, this is just like a false wall, so we can actually take this wall out and then access all the cords that go into our electrical box. Something else that we definitely mentioned in our first van tour and still applies to us today because we're almost 30 and definitely done growing. So our heights have not changed.
This is a YouTube channel for educating children. We're almost 30. We've stopped growing. What are you talking about?
I just mean that obviously our height has not changed.
Yeah.
So if you watched our first van tour,
we haven't grown much since then.
I haven't had a growth spurt since the last van tour, so I'm 5'3", and I have a lot of room in this van. I can go on my toes and still be comfortable and have a lot of space. And Nick can't say the same thing because he is nearly 6 feet tall.
Hey, what the hell, man? I'm 6 feet.
I think that Nick is 5'11", but he says he's 6 feet tall, but either way, he can definitely not stand fully in this van. So behind me here we have 4 separate baskets that we use for our stuff. So this is my socks and underwear, and in the summer now, a couple of my favorite bathing suits. as well as Nick's socks and underwear, and then all of our hats, which in the summer we switch out because it's usually filled with all of our toques in the wintertime. And then this is like our miscellaneous drawer. And then behind me on the side is our air conditioner, which we never figured out how to make work. So if you are an ambulance manufacturer, or you have your own ambulance, or you're a paramedic that drives the same type of vehicle as us, please let us know how we can make this work. If you have any knowledge about that, you'd make us very, very, very happy people. We also have this hanging storage here, which was originally, the whole plan for it was that it was going to be like temporary stuff. So if like we had like a bag of chips or sitting on the counter, we could just throw it in there while we drive. But it's just turned into, we keep all of our towels there. All of our work clothes are in the very top cube, and those stay there all the time, as well as like our toiletries and everything. Those actually just stay in there. And honestly, this swings when we drive, but things don't really typically fall out of it unless we pack it way too full.
It's because it swings, because then it goes with the turn.
Like the items go with the turn.
Yeah, so it goes out, and if it was just attached to the wall, then everything would just fall out.
Yeah, and we've driven on some pretty rocky roads with it, and we stand by the fact that things don't really fall out of it.
Okay, so now we're on to this side of the van, which I will explain to you guys. So we have a bunch of clothes here on the bed, which we have not folded and put away in our closet, which I'm sitting on. And the reason for that is because the closet is super messy and we haven't organized in there. If you remember, if you saw our first van tour or want to go back and watch that, you'll notice that everything's perfect, nice and tidy, and now it's kind of a mess. These are supposed to be my pants and my t-shirts, Rachel's pants and t-shirts, and then this is kind of like a common area for like sweaters, or like I usually keep shorts in here because we originally kept them in the hanging storage, but now we've kind of swapped over to here. I don't know how this got so messy. We got rid of all our winter clothes, and somehow our summer clothes have just taken up more room than our winter clothes did. And then we made these, or Rachel actually made these cushions, like custom made them. They're kind of stained a little bit now. And then we bought these pillows. And then if I take you guys over to the other side, so this is the seat that we call Rachel's seat, just because it's a little bit smaller. Although I've been starting to use the seat a lot more, just because it's like, it's nice, you can kind of like have some food here.
Seat.
It's a good seat. Although we do have a table that sits here, but anyways. So this seat here is kind of like our pantry. This is our pantry here. This is where we have a lot of like dry food storage. And then we also keep a lot of stuff down here. So yeah, as you can see, it's a mess. And then at the front of it here is our heater. So I actually left a space here so that we didn't store anything here, and then this was just all room for the heater, which I don't really know why I did that. Like I mean, I know why, so nothing melted, but like we're never plugged into shoreline power, or like rarely we are. And when we do, we just have to remember to take all the like stuff out from next to this heater, if we're using the heater even. I mean, we could be plugged into shoreline power in the summer and there's no way in hell that we're using the heater. So yeah, anyways, this is just kind of like our pantry. We store a few other things down there, but it's mostly just for food. And then like Tupperwares and things like that. To access the underside of the bed, obviously any normal person would just use the doors at the back, but to get all the way up to this end is kind of a pain. So instead of creating some kind of like a door or something to lift up the mattress, I'm often going like this. So we have like when we're filming a sit-down vlog or something like that, we have to grab our lighting and all that. So oftentimes I'll lift up the mattress like so, and then we have our slats, which is really not good for your neck. So that's often how I'll grab stuff from underneath the bed. And yeah, that kind of covers the bed. We have big heavy blankets on here right now, which I have no idea why. We should just have a sheet and that's it, because it is disgustingly hot here right now. Again, here you'll notice 3 more little spice racks. So actually where our pantry was previously, these 2 big black boxes, again, in our first van tour, these 3 spice racks were actually there, and then we decided to swap those out over here, and then put 2 bigger baskets here for more storage. These guys, it's a nice spot for them, but oftentimes I'll pull our little table here that we set up to put here to eat out, and then I'll knock this off, so I'm having to like super glue it back on. So yeah, nothing's perfect in van life, or at least not in our van life. I'm sure in other people's it might be, but
It's not.
yeah, it's not. Anyways, here is our cabinet that I made, and oh my god, I'm sure I explained that in the van tour. Go watch that if you want to hear about how I made this thing. So dumb, including the other one with like our plates and stuff. Oh, we didn't talk about our plates.
Oh yeah, here's
Yeah,
our plates.
do you want me to just do it really quick? Here's like our plates and like cutlery's in here. Again, it's a mess. It does move around when we're driving a little bit, but everything's made of plastic. So that was the point. Like, we didn't want any glass, so nothing shatters. Let's go back to this cabinet. Again, if you want to see how I made the cabinets, feel free to go look on our YouTube channel. So dumb. But Rachel did an amazing job at making them aesthetically look much better. Here, I'll actually open this one. So we just have like these little belly baskets here. We have 4 of them, 2 here, 2 here, just for like miscellaneous storage. So we have like hair clippers in there for cutting my hair. We have like Rachel's hair dye, things like that. Just a lot of miscellaneous stuff that we just kind of toss in there that doesn't really belong anywhere else. This is our home for it. And then we have our curtains, which again, we didn't have in our first van tour, but we recently put them up, and oh my god, why didn't we do that in the first place? It's just way nicer. You can open them up, close them. Why am I explaining how curtains work? Obviously you know how curtains work. It's just way better with them. We have our little mirror, which if you look behind it, we're always forgetting to take off. So it kind of, I mean, oftentimes I'll take a corner and we'll hear.
And then we know, oh, it's like, oh, who didn't take the mirror down?
It's always me.
Actually, before we move to the cab, I do want to mention something about the mirror, because yes, it's mostly my mirror. I don't really think, Nick, you don't use that mirror that much. But what I do actually do, and what I do like about the fact that it's not screwed in, is that I do move it usually to get the natural light. You can see the lighting's much better after it adjusts. If we're like parked, if we're camping or we're off-grid, we're parked somewhere where we can have our doors open, I just put the mirror here and then I sit on the floor like so and do my makeup here. So yeah, this is kind of the setup. Or if I'm feeling really fancy, I'll put it up here. But then I kind of have to like bend.
So here's the cab, nothing too fancy in here. We've talked about like redoing it and making it something fun. We also kind of like the fact that it does just look like potentially a work vehicle. We have our curtains here that just shut. So for privacy for us, but also just if we're gonna be away from the van for a while, we're just worried about potential break-ins or anything like that, we can close these, put a curtain up over the side door, and then also obviously we have our awesome curtains in the back, which I explained to you how they work. Anyways, so we kept it kind of the same, except for we put our cool leopard print steering wheel cover on there. Which,
one of the people who subscribe to the channel hates this thing.
Oh.
He's always like, Nick, you've got to take that thing off.
Sorry.
We got it from Canadian Tire.
It was
for
my idea.
$9.
I liked it, man. I mean, I do like it. It's also our steering wheel's like chipping away. I'm sure being a paramedic is a very stressful job. So like the whole thing, like it's all like ripped off and like flaking away. Anyways, I put this on. So yeah.
But yeah, if you've not seen what the front of an ambulance looks like, it's kind of like this.
Yeah.
Because we didn't really change anything here.
This is all like the lights and sirens and stuff before it was retired. So clearly it's illegal to have lights on your vehicle and to be posing as a paramedic. So they remove all of those, but all the buttons have still stayed. You know, we've got like the Yelp whale standby radio that would control the sirens and all that stuff.
Also, it always looks like these lights are flashing on camera, but in person, it's not flashing. It's just like an illusion that happens with the camera.
And this one is actually flashing though, because the door is open.
Is ajar.
And I think I've got everything. Oh, we also have another small inverter that plugs into this cigarette lighter. So if we need to charge a few things up front, we totally can do that.
So anyways, that's the general gist of our van. We have done a more in detail van tour where you can actually see like what items we narrowed down to bring into the van, and we post vlogs every week if you're interested in seeing more of our ambulance conversion, but that's basically it, and that's what it looks like all the time right now. We built it ourselves. It was our very first van build. We built it on a budget. It cost $6,000 Canadian to build the van and $6,000 Canadian to buy the ambulance as well. Again, we've done other videos of like the costs of our van build and everything and breaking that all down. But we just really want to show you guys, like we're just on the side of the road right now. We want to show you guys what it looks like on a day-to-day basis. And we're really grateful that you watched this video because it's like kind of embarrassing to post, but you know, it's fine.
Yeah. But I mean, this is typically like, you know, van life isn't always like glorious, and you know, we're showing you kind of what it looks like on the inside. It's not super glorious. Things are dirty. Oh, glamorous. Idiot. Glorious. God. So, anyways, things aren't always glamorous. Things aren't always that glamorous, obviously on the inside. Right now, when you look outside, it is pretty glamorous. Like this is like what appeals to a lot of people with van life. You know, we're at the lake, we have everything here, we can set up chairs, table, read a book, have some food, go for a swim. But again, this isn't always what it's like either. You know, it is an alternative way to live, but I really like it.
Yeah, we absolutely love it, and we love our ambulance. I don't think there's a lot that we change about it other than the induction stove and the sink. But again, we've done videos on things that we don't like about our van and things that we want to change, as well as videos about what we love about van life. So we really hope that you guys check those out if you're interested in learning more about our ambulance conversion. So thank you so much for watching this video, and we will see you in the next one. Bye!
Bye.